この明かりは星の希望、地を照らす命の証。ミルガリー X カリバー。
Hello, everyone. This video is a remake of Arturia, my first attempt on this channel. I've added some content and put a lot of effort into editing the video to make it easier to watch, so that people who have seen the previous Arturia video can also enjoy it. I hope you can see it through to the end. The following contains spoilers for Type Moon works. If you don't mind, please watch it. Question. Are you my master? Arturia is a spirit summoned by Shuru Emiya. Her class is Saber, the Knight of Swords, one of the 3 knights and considered to be the best of the servants. Arturia was also summoned to the 4th Holy Grail War, where Kiritsugu Emiya, Shuru Emiya's adoptive father, was the master. Her true identity is that of King Arthur, the legendary hero of England. A girl named Arturia, who pulled the sword that would select the king from the rock, disguised her gender and lived as the ideal King Arthur. But after the civil war that devastated her land, she believes she was never fit to be king and wants the Holy Grail to re-elect her king for the sake of her country. She is as powerful as the legend says she is, but due to the lack of a magic path for amateurs, she often suffers from a lack of magic power and struggles in many situations. Her character is proud and sincere. She had little sense of being a woman, and at first Shiro and she didn't see eye to eye. However, she eventually decided to destroy the Holy Grail that housed Anra Mainou, having affirmed her life through her interaction with Shiro. It would have been most fortunate for her to have Shiro, her mirror, as her master. 1. Legend. There once was a king in England. Her name is Arthur Pendragon. A legendary king who ascended to the throne as King of the Britons and defended the land for a long time against the Saxons who attacked the island of Britain. The Romanized version of the name Arthur is Artorius, and the feminine version is Arturia, which is Saber's real name. Born of a father, Uther Pendragon, and a queen of a rival kingdom, Arturia grew up under the tutelage of the wizard Merlin. She drew her sword of choice and became king. After that, she led Lancelot, Gawain, and other famous knights in many heroic deeds, defeated the Saxon king at the Battle of Hayden Hill, and brought peace to the land of Britain. Through the magic of the Holy Sword's scabbard, she never grew old and always reigned as the ideal king. It is truly ironic that she is so idealistic that she has alienated Queen Guinevere and the knights under her command. In the civil war that broke out at the end of his reign, she and his child, Mordred, were pitted against each other. Later, Arturia would make a contract with the world in exchange for becoming a spirit after her death. The only hope they have for the Grail is to redo the selection of their king. Legend has it that King Arthur's body was transported to Avalon, the land of the fairies, where he quietly healed his wounds. 2. Tactics. Saber's abilities are best displayed in a fair fight, head-on. This is a way of fighting that is full of knightly honor and Arturia's sense of beauty. However, that doesn't mean hate the operation. She was also a capable military commander, so she tended to dislike sloppy operations from the planning stage. She is meticulous in her planning and can change her actions to suit the ever-changing situation on the battlefield. Of course, despite her strategy, she doesn't like to act cowardly. For this reason, she was a terrible match for Kiritsugu Emiya, the cold-hearted and means-tested master of the 4th Holy Grail War. 3. Ability by class. Magic resistance. Arturia's resistance to magic is among the highest of all servants. It's enough to completely nullify even the greatest magic using magic circles and instantaneous contracts. Even the most skilled sorcerer of our time would be unable to harm her with a direct sorceress attack. It is said that if an opponent attacks with sorcery, she will fear nothing, and push forward and cut him down, and the game will be won. As the name, Pendragon, implies, she is a factor of the Red Dragon that is responsible for the protection of the nation, and is imbued with the magical power of the dragon itself. Its immense magical power is also the source of Arturia's counter-magic power. Because of she-dragon nature, he is not good at beings with dragon-slaying anecdotes, such as Siegfried, and if he were to use dragon-slaying magic, her anti-magic power may not be sufficient. In the story, when Shuru Emiya and Rin met at the Masters, despite the differences in their abilities and specialties as sorcerers, they kept their rating against magic. On the other hand, when Sakura Matu was the master, her magic power was reduced to B due to the effects of blackening. Riding B. She was also a knight, a soldier who excelled in horseback combat, so her riding rank was very high. Chariots pulled by horses can also be ridden in the same way. Motorcycles and cars are considered modern steam and can therefore be subject to this high riding rank. It was also stated in Fate Zero that she can also pilot aircraft. When Kiritsugu Emiya was the master, her riding was raised to A. However, since Arturia can only handle common vehicles, it cannot control magical beasts such as Pegasus and Griffin and dragons, nor phantasmal species of the holy beast rank. This is due to the fact that she is not a rider and was only a king in the time of man, not a legend who rode an illusionary species. In the Fourth Holy Grail War, she rode a motorcycle, but in the Fifth, she never used her riding ability. If the right riders had been given, the battle might have unfolded differently. Also, Saber Alta has lost this skill due to the influence of black for some reason. The mysterious heroine X possesses this skill at an amazing X rank lol. 4. Skills possessed. Intuition. Intuition is the ability to instantly realize the best course of action for you in combat. It predicts ballistic trajectory, so firearm attacks can be avoided. At rank A, it almost reaches the realm of predicting the future. This ability also allows you to ignore some of the penalties of audiovisual interference. The fact that she was able to see through Cu Chulane's immense skill was due in large part to Saber's skill as well as her excellent intuition. Mana Burst. The ability to enhance magic power by attaching it to one's weapon or body. The reason why Arturia, who has a poor physique, can fight a monster like Berserker properly is because her physical abilities have been greatly enhanced by magic. At rank A, even a mere stick can become a weapon of immense power. In addition, this significant physical enhancement through the release of magic power is only possible with the vast amount of magic power Arturia has. Charisma. B. Arturia is the King of England and has a high charisma. Her command of the army she will lead will be extremely high. However, her sincerity was not enough to build a vast empire on a global scale, and so only a B in rank. Also, this rank B is charismatic enough to rule a country. 5. Noble Phantasm. Invisible Air rank C, anti-personnel. It is a barrier that covers the blade by changing the refractive index of light through multiple layers of wind. It's more like witchcraft than noble phantasm. The barrier allows you to attack without letting your opponent know the distance and trajectory of your CTO. Keeping her noble phantasm a secret would also mean keeping her true name a secret. Another benefit is the increase in attack power and hit rate. By using the wind as a blade and wrapping it around the blade, the attack power is increased and the invisibility of the weapon gives an advantage in hit rate. However, since invisibility is an advantage, the increased hit rate will not be effective against Mind-Eye users or opponents who do not rely on sight. In the Fourth Holy Grail War, it is a remote weapon for large groups that releases condensed air at once and knocks down enemies together. Used it as strike air. And it's not just swords that can be covered by the wind, but also motorcycles that can be wrapped around them to increase their speed, and buildings that can be used as storm barriers. Excalibur, it's a rank A++ anti-fortress, the most powerful noble phantasm Arturia has. This is the largest and most powerful noble phantasm that Arturia has. The Holy Sword, the strongest and most precious symbol of King Arthur. It is the pinnacle sword in the category of holy swords, and it was not a human who forged it. It is one of the ultimate heart weapons, the last phantasm, crystallized inside the earth based on the thoughts of the people. Originally, it was controlled by the star spirits, but after being administered by the Maid of the Lake, it passed into the hands of King Arthur, the Son of Man. It converts the owner's magic power into light, which is then released like a laser beam from the tip of a downed sword, destroying everything in its path. Naturally, it consumes a lot of magic power and can't be used repeatedly. In the Fourth Holy Grail War, the noble phantasm burned away the great sea demon summoned by Castor. It is classified as anti-fortress due to its size and destructive power. Excalibur and other divine armaments are designed to counter foreign enemies that threaten the planet itself. Avalon Barrier Noble Phantasm, Rank X. The Noble Phantasm is the sheath of Excalibur and is named after Avalon, the fairy lord where King Arthur would rest. The owner will be healed from any wounds and even the aging process will be stopped. And by unlocking its true name, a barrier will unfold that will bring the strongest protection. This noble phantasm, which nullifies even magical interference, is said to be magical in its very existence. Legend has it that the loss of this scabbard cast a sinister shadow over King Arthur's life that would eventually lead to the fall of his kingdom. In the present day, Einsburn has discovered it in Cornwall, and it's now in Kiritsugu Emiya's hands. Afterwards, he is implanted into Shuru Emiya's body, saving his life and leading to his connection with Arturia. In the Fate route, the two of them won the Holy Grail War, knowing that Shuru was his sheath. 6. Armament Excalibur. Originally, it was a holy sword that appeared in the legend of King Arthur, and became the holy sword owned by King Arthur. Legend has it that Arthur, who was raised by the sorcerer Merlin while hiding the fact that he was the daughter of a king, pulled out a sword stuck in a rock and became king. Later, the sword was broken once and a new sword was given to King Arthur by Vivian, the lake fairy, the king's guardian. The two swords owned by King Arthur are both sometimes referred to as Excalibur. However, the episode where he pulls out the sword stuck in the rock and the episode where he gets the key in the lake are two different episodes, and it is said that they were later combined into one episode. This is why the former sword is called Caliburn and the latter Excalibur. Excalibur scabbard. Excalibur's sheath has the power to be another noble phantasm Avalon in itself. Even in Arthurian legend, Excalibur's sheath is said to be a magical sheath. After King Arthur was given Excalibur by the lake nymph, the sorcerer Merlin gave her a sheath with magical powers that would never bleed as long as she held it. Its value was more precious than the weapon Excalibur. Therefore, the loss of this sheath to Morgan Le Fay, King Arthur's half-sister, led to his death. Caliburn, like Excalibur, it is a holy sword that appears in the Arthurian legend. The symbol of a king and a symbol of power, it has a more luxurious decoration than Excalibur. As a result, its performance as a weapon is less than Excalibur. Legend has it that this sword was broken by King Arthur when he fought against chivalry. There are many theories about the relationship between Caliburn and Excalibur in the legend. Some say that they are the same sword reworked, others say that they are completely different. 7. Blessing of the Lake Fairy. Arturia is not described in her status as a skill, but she can stand on the surface of the water and walk on it because she is blessed by the spirit of the lake. That's why she's never swam in her life, and on the battlefield, she says she ran on the lake. 8. Avalon. This is the legendary island where King Arthur was brought to rest after being mortally wounded in a battle with Mordred in the story of King Arthur. It is said to be the place where King Arthur's body is sleeping or will sleep until he wakes up in the distant future, and according to one theory, it is Glastonbury in southwest England. In the Fate series, it is an ideal world that Arturia will one day reach after her life is over, a mysterious land where fairies come and go. It is also here that Merlin, the sorcerer who guided King Arthur, is imprisoned. 9. Knights of the Round Table. In the legendary story of King Arthur, the Knights of the Round Table were the most select and elite of the knights who served her. The name is a reference to the circular table in Camelot Castle, and the idea that they are all equals around a round table, no higher or lower. The person to whom Knights of the Round Table refers varies from document to document, but it is often said that there are 13 seats at the Round Table, following the example of Jesus Christ and the 12 Apostles. 10. Collapse of the Round Table. The Knights of the Round Table embodied the ideals of integrity, loyalty, and equality for everyone around the table. Under King Arthur's rule, the colleagues pacified Britain and tried to expand the country further, but they met with a tragic end when the king died in a civil war. One of the reasons for the fall of the Round Table was King Arthur's half-sister, the elf Morgan. Morgan is also the mother of Gawain, Gaheris, and Gareth's three brothers, Agravain and Mordred, and she hates the king and plots to bring discord to the Round Table in various ways, especially Mordred's efforts to turn the king against him, which led to the rebellion that followed. And the decisive event that led to the fall of the Round Table was the illicit love between Queen Guinevere and Lancelot. During the prolonged confrontation between Lancelot, who had become a traitor and enemy of the king, and Gawain and others who tried to condemn her, Mordred rebelled, and King Arthur, who was on his way to pacify the king, was mortally wounded. 11. Peculiarities of servants and Arturia. Originally, Arturia was supposed to be taken care of by one of her loyal subjects, the Knight of the Round Table, Bedivere, who would return Excalibur to the lake and led her to Avalon. But before she could do that, he was approached by a deterrent force and became a guardian to be used in the afterlife in exchange for getting the Holy Grail and fulfilling her wishes. The contract will be called. Originally, spirits go to the seat of the English spirit after death, but for the people of England, King Arthur is the future king who will eventually come back to life, so she is an exception to the rule that she will go to Avalon if she does not become a guardian. In the case of the Fate route, he has terminated his contract to become a guardian and will go to Avalon after his death, and in the case of the UBW route, he is reconsidering his path, and it seems to be a 50-50 decision whether to become a guardian or go to Avalon. Strictly speaking, she is not dead, but alive, which makes her somewhat different from other servants, and she has the aforementioned disadvantages of not having acquired timeless knowledge and not being able to transform into a spirit. And because of this, the ritual that allows the souls of the 7 spirits to be captured in the Holy Grail to reach the root cannot be performed due to lack of capacity. In other words, once she is summoned, the ritual to reach the root is certain to fail. As a servant, she has been given modern knowledge by the Holy Grail, but she has not yet become a spirit in the proper sense of the word, so she does not have the timeless knowledge of a spirit. As a result, she has some knowledge of the spirits before her time, such as Paper Age and BC, but no knowledge of the spirits that have appeared since her time. This is why Cu Chilane and Da Dirmud Ua Dweevna could have figured out the true name from Noble Phantasm without saying it, but Sasaki Kojira and Giles de Rais didn't seem to know it when they came forward themselves. That's it for this video. I'll continue to do character and setting explanations for Type Moon, so I hope you'll watch my other videos as well. Also, please subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.